Good morning, everybody. My name is Job Tisse from NBI International. I would like to welcome everybody, everybody in the room, but also the people in Vietnam who can follow us on a live stream connection. It's an honor to have you here, and we are very proud on this seminar. Especially because this is a seminar where we worked for over 2 years. We established, I think, a very good relationship with Vietnam, and I really hope that we can hold on to this and go further with building on this network. Also, I would like to compliment our Vietnam business unit manager, Ms. Nguyen, who worked very hard to complete the seminar and to make this happen today. I would like to give the first word to the president of ESPE, Mr. Hans Krika. Also very thankful to you for cooperating with us and creating such a good seminar. Hans, thank you. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about my background, because that is why I have the passion to be in factory automation. So I started in oil refinery, but then I decided to go back to factory automation, so I joined Philips Lighting, a famous company. Later on, I was busy with pharmaceutical. Then at Philips, the shavers, which I don't use anymore. Then ASML, special applications, and there I learned about eyeline lithography in the MEMS area. That's a very interesting area because there's a lot of innovation there, like LED, like all kinds of sensors, like all kinds of displays. And from the year 2010, I decided to quit ASML because ASML is a very large company, so you are a very small part, and that's what I didn't like anymore. So I started for myself, and later on I became involved in a Chinese company, and I'm now working for a Chinese company in the beautiful city of Xintai in China. That's the most polluted city in the world. The Society for Precision Engineering, we are a society of people working in precision engineering. And you can say that almost all people in the Netherlands working in precision engineering are part of our society. So we are very close together. We are not management, but we are the engineers working together. And since precision engineering is about knowledge, about a lot of things, it's good to know people, because if you don't know something, you go to a friend and ask how to do it. How do I glue glass, or how do I do mechatronics, or whatever. The characteristics of our society is that we are passionate in precision engineering, that we have the Dutch creative thinking, so you don't think what your boss thinks, but you think what you think, and that is what you explore. That's very important. And the multidisciplinary peer cooperation, working together stronger, and we are all international oriented. The precision engineer is very important for the company, very important, because it makes the company. The system design determines performance, productivity and costs, and that are the characteristics of a company. So the precision engineer is very important. Does management know? No, they don't know. Why not? Because the precision engineer is a modest guy focusing on his work and not telling about his work. The mission of our society is technology innovation, because technology innovation is very important to stimulate that. For technology innovation you need knowledge transfer, so we are focused on sharing knowledge in a professional network by which we make our profession better positioned. And that has happened the latest years in the Netherlands, because precision engineering is very important, especially for the Eindhoven region. If you consider ASML has 80% market share, so 80% of your electronics is made on machines coming from this city. The value of DSP, we are active since very long. There are 400 companies in precision engineering in the Netherlands, and 100 companies are member of DSP. And the economics of precision engineering is very important for the Netherlands. We have many associates, many you don't know, but we have a very popular scientific magazine, issued 6 times a year, and very well received by our members. We want to extend our possibilities, since we have a very good reputation in the Netherlands, and we have a lot of expertise in a lot of areas of precision engineering. So we want to explore possibilities to the outside world. We are high-tech. The world requires high-tech. When I'm in Asia, I can feel, I can see that people are aiming for high-tech. You in Vietnam are also aiming for high-tech, which is good. It's a nice area of work. So we should focus on the world to supply our principles and to let receiving countries build up the industry, to prosper together. So we do the thinking. I don't think we should focus on having a lot of Dutch industry around the world. I think we should collaborate with the industry of the countries receiving our knowledge. I think that's the best position. The Netherlands and Vietnam. This is the Netherlands, and if you live in the Netherlands you think it's a big country, but if you see the world, then we are a very, very small country, especially if you compare it to Asia. We are a country which looks to the world. Centuries ago we were on the seas and we had a lot of interaction with the world. Like with Asia, like with Australia, like with South America. So we are a small country of people looking to the outside world. But we are also inventors. This is Mr. van Leeuwenhoek, and he invented the microscope in 16 something. And we are working on inventions. I think this is the most patented area of the world. A lot of inventions have been made here. And we are also creative thinking people. So centuries ago we pushed the water away, so we got more land. And we are famous for that. This is the Oosterschelde Dam. This is constructed to keep the sea floating around, but when there is a big storm, we can shut down and we can protect ourselves. We are very famous for this. The Dutch also built the island where the Hong Kong airport is on now. But we also made the first color years ago, and that was on the same high-tech campus which is already. This is ASML. As I told you, 80% of the electronics are made on ASML apparatus. This is the most high-level lithography system in the world. But also FEI make electron microscopes, 60% market share in the world, and the SARS virus was detected on an FEI. It's located in Eindhoven. Also, I think also in Vietnam DAF is known, right? In China as well, a famous truck company, not that big in the world, but we do make very good trucks, also from Eindhoven area. Then a complicated scheme showing that we do research and we create products. In between we have a large supply chain of a lot of companies working together and supplying the different parts of the required products. This is a picture of a guy working in the supply chain. So we do have world orientation, we are inventive, we are creative, and therefore we do high tech. Why Vietnam? Because Vietnam is growing, and I learned from working at Philips that you always have to look to growing economics. That's better than slowing down economics. So I think there's a lot of potential in Vietnam for the future. You have attention for high tech. This is in the Ho Chi Minh High Tech Park, I think, right? And I think you are studious people. And I now work in China, so I can compare a little bit, and I think you are studious people. Accurate. In China, everything is 95% quality, everything, so not 100. I think you have more attention for quality. And your language is less complicated than Chinese for us. We don't understand, but it's less complicated. So, attention for high tech, studies people, accurate, and language. I propose let's work together. And I hope that's stated there in Vietnamese. Is that right or not? Okay. My own company is Verly. I just show you because I think working together is very important. Thank you very much. Questions? No. Okay. Yeah, sure. Can I what you want? Okay. Okay, Hans. Thank you very much for your presentation. I would like to give the word to the next speaker, Mr. Hans Duisters from Siemens. We are very enthusiastic that he is making time and is busy schedule to speak at this seminar. Hans.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hans, from Hans Krikker to Hans Duisters. I'm the founder and the CEO of the Siemens company. What does Siemens do? We make embedded computers. That's what we do. Now, a lot of PCs in the world, a lot of mobile devices and smartphones, but there are many more computers embedded into all kinds of devices. So if you look at your microwave in the morning, you have your dishwasher, there's a computer in it controlling that device. And when you step into your car, there are 50 computers in an average car controlling your brakes, your lights, or your GPS, or your motor with embedded devices. When you stop at a machine to get cash, an ATM machine, it's controlled by embedded devices. If you have a traffic light, all day you see embedded computers into the world. There are many more embedded computers, but you don't see them because they are embedded. That's what we do. That's what the Siemens company does with 300 engineers. And I'd like to tell you today something about the Brainport area. And we have a company in Vietnam. And I think Asia is going to be the century of the 21st century. Asia is going to be very important. And how can we connect between the Netherlands and Vietnam, and how can we benefit from the things that are going on in Asia? I'd like to tell you something and to share some experience. I don't have slides. Hans showed some beautiful slides from the area, so thanks Hans. I speak from the heart, so I don't need to. And I have 15 minutes, so let's start. Let's start over here. We are in the Brainport area, as we call it. And what does it mean? In the Brainport area, we are very good in making high-tech equipment. The most precise equipment in the world is made in this part of the world. Hans named ASML, a company doing, I think, $8 billion or $10 billion of revenues. And they are best at putting the smallest track on a chip. I mean, you can do that best. You have a unique position. When you can do something that other people can't, you have a strong position and you become the market leader. So, being unique is very important. ASML is a great example in this area. We also have NBI microscopes. They make the best picture with a microscope in the world. And when you can make the best picture, nobody else can do it better than you do. You have a great position and you do about $1 billion of revenues. And so we can go on with a lot of companies. MRI equipment for making a scan of a human body, made by Philips, is designed over here and produced over here, and you have that same unique position. So we have very strong OEM companies, as we call them. And when I go to the OEM companies and I say, who are your main suppliers? They name about 10 or 15 main first-tier suppliers, and most of them are in this area. And when I go to those first-tier suppliers and I ask them, who are your main suppliers? They name about 100 high-tech companies in the world, of which 120, 130 are in this Brainport area. So there's a huge concentration of high-tech companies in this area. And it's not easy to pick up a company like ASML and put it in another part of the world, because at ASML 5,000 engineers work on one machine, but also 5,000 engineers work in the ecosystem surrounding ASML together to build that machine. And that's not easy to pick that up. So we have a very interesting ecosystem of high-tech suppliers, and with that ecosystem you can also build new OEM companies. So I went to NBI and they make microscopes, and they make world's best microscope. They cost between $1 and $10 million a piece. So the best universities and the best institutes in the world, they want to have the microscopes from NBI. And I asked them, well, you have several business cases, and what is the next one that you don't do because you don't have the resources? All companies have limited resources. That's management capacity, technicians, money. And he said, well, we can make a very small microscope, but it's not our cup of tea, because we know there's a huge market for it, but we are the best in building the high-end microscopes and not the low-end, but there's a huge opportunity. So we agreed to build a new company in this area with the ecosystem to create a new small microscope company called Phenom World. Phenom World is now growing towards $100 million of revenue. And that's a new OEM company that you can create with this ecosystem in this area. That was interesting. That's a very fast growing company at the moment. So Canon bought OC, and OC is making printing systems. And in the old days you printed ink on a piece of paper, but nowadays you can print everything. You can print plastics, you can print metals, you can print flat, and you can print 3D. So there are a lot of opportunities to make new OEM companies building printing equipment. And what OC likes to sell is the cartridge. You know where the money is made. It's not with the printing system, that's with the cartridge, with the ink and the print heads. So together we created a new company called Mutrex. Mutrex is printing the copper lines on a PCB. And it's a $30 million investment. And now it's ready to sell. And we started selling in December, and we already sold, I think, 6 or 7 pieces of equipment of $1 million a piece. And I give you some examples of things you can do with the ecosystem over here. After that, we set up a new OEM company for the solar industry, for medical equipment. So that's interesting that this ecosystem can set up new OEM companies, and that's what the world is looking for. In this area, we like to spread our risks because we had some big companies, and if those big companies become too big, you become too dependent on a few companies. So it's good to spread the risks among more companies. Vietnam, and you see that to build up a high-tech industry. Vietnam is mainly a low-tech industry. How can you build up a high-tech industry? So at CX we have 300 engineers, and we have a huge shortage on engineers. Because here the high-tech industry is very promising and growing, and we have a huge shortage on engineers. So in Vietnam, they have a policy to build a high-tech industry by 2020. That means for IT, for instance, they want to have, from the 90 million population, they want to have 1 million people educated in IT by 2020. So they founded 277 universities and in 3 major cities, Hanoi, Saigon and in Da Nang. They built huge software parks to facilitate companies from abroad and from within Vietnam to build software in Vietnam. And I think, wow, that's really a good industry policy, and I believe in that. When you think in the world about software, you think about India, but what you see what Vietnam is doing. Also what I saw is you have provinces in Vietnam. In provinces, you have villages, and they report to the province, and the province reports to the central government. Then in Vietnam, Hanoi, Saigon and Da Nang directly report to the government, because they want to have a good industry policy that's good implemented, not with intermediates, but direct in those 3 main cities. And I see that effect. I was in Da Nang, and I see that they are very helpful in helping me with setting up a new company for CX in Da Nang. And I think Eduard also set up some companies in Saigon, and you can see there's a really, they call it a kind of red carpet policy. So, okay, how to build up a win-win between Vietnam and the Brainport area over here. First of all, we are recruiting the best technical university of Vietnam is the Ba Qua University, and that's in Da Nang. That's the reason why we go to Da Nang. It's like in the Netherlands, everybody knows Amsterdam, everybody knows Rotterdam, but Eindhoven is a technical city. That's much less known in the world. It's the same in Vietnam. You have Hanoi, everybody knows. Saigon, everybody knows. And when I say Da Nang, it's Hanoi because it's a technical city, and they are more modest, I think. So we have grown to 100 engineers in Da Nang. We started a year and a half ago. We have now 20 engineers, and we are growing in a decent way. And what we do is we help the Dutch companies over here because we have a shortage of engineers. Step 2 is that we, when you are in Da Nang, you are in between Hong Kong and Singapore. And there's a huge demand, that's a high-tech industry, so we can start working for local customers. And step 3 is that we build our competence in new OEM companies in Vietnam. I think that's a good step to first transfer knowledge from the Netherlands to Vietnam, because we are very good in building the most precise equipment in the world, and that knowledge we are transferring at the moment to Da Nang. The second step is support surrounding close countries. The third step is building own OEM companies, high-tech companies, and I hope that we can do that within 10 years. That's our goal. And those are the lessons, the things we are heading for. what I experience is what Hans said, is enormous studious people. They like to learn. Very hard working people in Vietnam. Sometimes when I come back I think, wow, I think we have a real relaxed attitude in Europe compared to Vietnam. And yeah, these are the things I wanted to share. But do you have some questions? Because I only have 15 minutes to tell. Maybe you have some questions left for me about the Vietnam-Holland cooperation. No questions? Do you start?
Can you hear me? Okay. Maybe you can answer some questions from Vietnam, because there's a direct connection. Can I give you the microphone?
Yeah. Yes, good morning everybody, because today the seminar is live broadcasted to Vietnam. So there might be some questions standing from Vietnam, but so far I haven't received any, so that we can continue the program. So.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Hans, for your explanation and your. I would like to give the word to our next speaker, Mr. Ger van den Eykel, who is the CEO of Focal Vision and Optics, manufacturing medical equipment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Gerard van den Eykel from Focal. I'm not the CEO, I'm the CTO. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. And today I'd like to share one of our ideas, opportunities that we see for especially manufacturing medical instruments in a country like Vietnam. Next slide, please.
There's a...
Oh, I can do it show?
Yep.
As Hans told you, we are also part of this ecosystem that we have in the Netherlands around high-tech systems. That means that we create new IP, new products, and we do not focus so much on the manufacturing itself. For us, the added value, the economic added value that we have, relies in creating these new ideas, these inventions. If you look at our company, that creation of IP is also reflected in the type of people that we have. We are relatively small, but we focus entirely on optics and what we call computer vision. Computer vision or image analysis, images as in pictures. We were established in 2008. At the moment we have about 15 highly skilled engineers, mostly having a PhD, and we are internationally oriented. Of course we cannot do everything, and if you're in an innovative area and an ecosystem like we have in the Netherlands, a lot of the things that are created are done by partnerships, and one of the strongest partnerships that we have in the area of mechatronics is with Demcon. We have about 150 plus engineers, but also have the facilities to do production, production, and with them we create, for example, zero series or prototyping. If you go to the core of our business, the business of Focal, we develop optical measurement systems, but part of that system, part of that measurement system is always some kind of intelligent software. And where we focus on is image analysis software. So what we combine is the capturing of images by cameras or video cameras, analyze these images with software. Now for cameras you need optics, you need optical systems. That's what we design in-house. And for the analysis of these images, you have software that we also develop in-house, the functional part of that software. Typically, we demonstrate the new idea or the invention using a prototype. We patent when necessary, or we avoid patents if that's the request. We demonstrate this with prototypes, but also with zero series production. And what we learn, what our engineers are learning through this zero series production, is how to make these new products more cost efficient, more cost effective. So in the end, what results is a prototype and a design documentation which is suitable for manufacturing. There are three types of industries that we mostly work for. We categorize them according to high-tech. High-tech, we specifically mean everything which is related around mostly the semiconductor industry. We work for medical device industry, specifically for manufacturers that bring optical systems to the market for the human eye, ophthalmology. And third is the industrial automation area, where we deliver industrial inspection systems, mostly for product quality inspection. What I'd like to do now is to give you take out just one of these sectors that we work for, which is the medical domain, and just, as far as you're not aware of it yet, just show you one of the drivers behind some of the medical equipment which is currently developed, especially in the West. And one of these drivers is the growing costs of medical health care. If you look at the population built up in the West, to some extent it also holds for Japan, you see that if you look at people with age over 65, as a share of the total population is growing relatively rapidly. It's growing from 20% to 33% in maybe 20 years or so. That poses a number of problems, which are mostly related to the national budget. And if you look at the amount of healthcare costs with respect to the gross domestic product, you see that if we continue rising with these medical costs, which is the red area on the chart you see downstairs, on the right down, you see that in about 20 years we have more that to pay. So something needs to happen also with respect to the healthcare costs. Now, one of the things that we see as an opportunity is that one of the answers that you could give to reducing healthcare costs is by providing what we call pre-screening as a response to this. If you look at healthcare costs, it's a difficult topic. I don't know everything about it, certainly not. But what I do know is that quite a lot of medical costs are made once it is, let's say, too late. The earlier on in a certain disease development, in certain countries, the better it is, and often the costs are lowest. So what we want to build is this case for pre-screening. One of the other aspects of pre-screening is that using a pre-screening device, what do we mean with pre-screening? Well, it's, in our case, a reliable way of imaging, making images, record them, and share them, or make sure that they can be shared among doctors, among specialists, which are maybe not exactly at the location where the pictures are being taken. Further, it could provide also an initial diagnosis. And we say initial diagnosis because in the medical domain you have to be very careful with saying we are automating a doctor. It's not possible because each person is different, yes, we know, but still in a pre-screening setting you can provide an initial diagnosis using images and other gathered measured data from a patient. Now if you can share this, then there is an option that one doctor can maybe serve more patients. And second, maybe he can put his attention to the patient who really needs his attention. A lot of pre-screening helps also to create security among people who then don't need to go to a hospital anymore. So there are a number of benefits by which with pre-screening devices you can create a case for reducing cost in medicine, but also increase the number of points of care. because especially in countries outside the Netherlands with less infrastructure, which have hospitals maybe miles and miles away, how do you tend to your patients? How do you tend to your population? Well, maybe by sending people who are trained to use these devices, gather information, gather this measurement data and send it to the hospital, who can judge whether such a person should go to the hospital at all or not. And last but not least, what I said, is the prevention of high medical treatment costs later on in the process. Now we've developed a couple of examples I give you. We have developed a number of devices which can create such a pre-screening instrument. One of the things is we developed a device which measures the shape of the human eye. Primarily used for contact lens fitting, because in the West we demand a high quality of fitness of the lens to the eye, and measuring your own eye and having a lens adapted to that is a possibility. However, with such an instrument you can also measure the topography of the eye and identify strange diseases or shapes of the eye, like a keratoconus. So it can be used as a pre-screening device as well. The beauty of this is that you can put it, because it's a relatively simple device to use, you don't need to put it in a hospital. Then you can put it in what we call a low-cost point of care, which could be an optical shop where you order your glasses. It could even be a sports facility or a drugstore where you put a device like this. Another example, which was specifically created for detecting diabetes in a lot of patients, this was for the Indian market, we developed a device for which you can easily image the retina and also identify age-related, which is relevant for Europeans maybe, age-related macular degeneration, which comes after the age of 50. These diseases require regular screening. For these you need these devices which we developed. They're compact and mobile. And then maybe the last example, we're currently developing a device that combines a multitude of functions. It's both for the eye inspections, but also for skin wounds and ear. So basically we set up a suite, one product, which is modular by design, which can basically image all of these aspects. And there's an infrastructure behind it by which these images are always taken, let's say, repeatable way. Repeatability and precision is something that we learn out of this industry in the Netherlands. Precision means that the doctor can rely on the quality of the image and can hence base his diagnosis on it. But we go one step further, we also introduce software that gives a first diagnosis on what could be the cause or issue, just as an early warning. Now, what to do with these in Vietnam, you may think? Well, that depends on how you look at the world, and the way we look at the world is as follows. We see ourselves as a company that creates value by developing these new type of products. We also see that in the Netherlands we have a relatively small market. We have only 15 million people, or 18 million, I don't know what we are at the moment, but it's insignificant. So for having such devices, as I just explained, which are in itself costly to develop, you need more markets, you need a larger quantity of production, which in the Netherlands is not so easy. What we do see an opportunity is in countries like Vietnam, where who may have a large domestic market, who could benefit from these inventions that we do here and can take up the manufacturing. When that happens, there is an immediate benefit also in return for countries like the Netherlands, because we can import these products. So what we see is we export the idea and we import back the product. And that's a way of cooperation that we suggest, which we would like to pursue with those interested in the future. Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. Oh, one? Sure.
Are you also looking, you just said the way to cooperate is to export the ideas and import the products. Do you expect that you will also start importing the ideas?
That's a very good question. In the end, that will be inevitable. But I think at this moment, and maybe in the next 10 years or so, we still have this advantage that we can share. and sooner or later we will import back and we will be more, let's say, equal partners in developing. We will have an ecosystem which we share around the world. And in the Netherlands we've also learned this, that there may be a region like Eindhoven, but there's also a region like Twente and Enschede, so who are, well, are they battling? No, they're cooperating now at the moment for the same type of customers or larger markets. And I think the same can happen between companies, what can happen between companies and ecosystems. I also see happening between countries, but it will take 10 to 20 years. My horizon is not that long.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So may I ask, is there any more questions about the business plan? Maybe interesting for you? Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation, Mr. Van Eyck. Now I would like to give the word to the first Vietnamese speaker, Mr. Tin, who is Commercial Counselor of the Vietnamese Embassy in The Hague. Mr. Tin, thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Chris and Bert from NBI, and also Dr. Hans Glass from the SP. Yes, last year we met each other and we decided to promote and also to add risk for the cooperation and promotion of high-tech cooperation between the Netherlands and Vietnam. And thank you very much for your cooperation and also the speakers here today for organizing this seminar. And also thank you for Ms. Yen, also Vietnam manager for this project. And I also would like to thank you, Mr. Huang, the director of Hanoi Foreign Services Center, for mobilizing and organizing Vietnam business delegation to this event. First, I'd like to brief you some information about Vietnam's open gate and also the high-tech demand and also the opportunities for cooperation between Dutch business and also Vietnamese enterprises. And you see, Vietnam is the domestic market is 90 million population, and also 45% is workforce and also young and dynamic. And do you know that Vietnam stands the 30th most populous nation in the world? And also GDP growth, and as my colleagues from also previous speaker, and also the import about 131 billion US dollar last year, and out of which nearly 20 billion machinery, equipment, and technology. And also the computer and component electronics around 18 billion US dollars. So you see the demand is not so small. And also Vietnam is located in a strategic position in Southeast Asia and border with China, Laos, and Cambodia and Eastern Seas. And it is also the cross point and also in the integrated areas with many countries and free trade areas with many big countries and also surrounding countries in this region. For example, we have diplomatic ties and trade relations with 80 countries and territories. A bilateral trade agreement with 72 countries, inclusive USA, Japan, and other nations. We have intellectual property agreement, investment protection agreement with 40 countries, and double taxation agreement with 38 countries in the world. And you see Vietnam as a member of ASEAN areas with 600 million population market and
also with GDP 3,000 million US dollar, and Vietnam has joined the free trade agreement with ASEAN, and also within ASEAN framework we have free trade agreement with many big countries, countries like ASEAN China, ASEAN Korea, ASEAN India, ASEAN Japan, and ASEAN Australia and New Zealand. And we are now under negotiations process important free trade agreements with Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yes, this area is accounted for more than 40% of world GDP. And you see when Vietnam with other members of TPP already is excluded agreement, and of course we expected to conclude this year, but still some major problems, issues under discussion. And as soon as this included, Vietnam export to USA will enjoy the import tax free. And another free trade agreement also very important for us and for Dutch business is the Vietnam-European free trade areas, and we also both sides we expected to conclude the agreement by the end of this year. And you see when Vietnam-EU free trade agreement concluded, most of Vietnamese export to European Union member countries are also free from import tax. So with regard to the policies for encouraging investment and business in high tech, and we have tax preferences and favorable policies committed. As the director of Silsius already mentioned in Da Nang, we have, for example, for newly established in high tech, we have 4 years. The first 4 years are free from tax, and next following 9 years, tax reduction of 50%, and for the next 15 years, the corporate tax is 10% compared to the standard of 25%. So we are glad to brief you about the industrial development approach of Vietnamese government and also business communities. And you see, we with the previous slides, you see Vietnam deeply integrated into international and regional economy. So we have also integrated deeply into international industrial value chain. And also state is determined to play a leading role, and also private sectors act as driving force. And also we are focused on to increase added value of industrial products, and also we consider that industrial development as key for modernization of our economy and society. And also green and sustainable development projects also is well preserved and also clearly set up in the policy. So we have set up the targets for the development of industry towards 2020. We try to achieve harmonized industrial structures by sectors and regions. So you see we are focused throughout our country is more than 2,000 kilometers stretching from the north to the south. And also we try to be capable of supplying to the economy's demand and also for export as well. And by 2030 we try to achieve strong competitiveness and also self-independence in technological research and development. And the orientation, you see, the increase of technological and local value, and also the development of supporting industries, mechanical components, plastics, rubbers, electronics for auto electronics, information and telecommunication. And we also focus on development of new material, bio and nanotechnology. So we try to also reduce the labor-intensive sectors and increase the value-added value products, and we promote industrial cooperation between Vietnam and partner countries and also these communities all over the world. Here we are focused on the six sectors: mechanical engineering and metallurgy, agro-food, and you see more than 70% of Vietnamese population are in agriculture areas. Electronics and information technology, energy, chemicals, and textile and source. So this is also lies in the 5 area sectors set up between Vietnam and Netherlands for cooperation in the futures. This is the mechanical engineering and metallurgy, the shipbuilding, and also Vietnam now have long-term cooperation with Daman Shipyard and also some other shipbuilding and also customer in the Netherlands. And also in our sector is mechanical parts and fabricated steels. So solutions, you see, the technology transfer and also priority project selection for support and focus investment for R&D institutions, and focus on production sheet, perform, preform and alloy metal. So the Netherlands is very strong in this sector. So I believe that the 2 countries can exploit and make use of this. And you see the agro-food priorities is was 2020, where we developed the quick frozen products, agro-food branding, and after 2020, functional foods, aqua products, and so solution is the promotion of large-scale production and also priority to unique products for branding establishment. And for Vietnam and the Netherlands, the 2 countries are discussing on the conclusion of also signing the strategic framework in agriculture. The 2 countries already strategic partnership in water management and adaptation to climate change. So for the coming visit by your Prime Minister to Vietnam in June, we hope that something may be exciting. And another sector for industrial development priorities are electronics and environment technology, software, you see, medical, electrical equipment. And for your information, we have Vietnam Embassy plan to organize 2 seminars, matchmaking seminar, one in IT software in the 4th quarter of this year, and another seminar in the medical sector. It includes pharmaceutical and also medical equipment software solution for healthcare industry. So we're looking for partners to organize the seminars in the fall. We plan in October this year in the Netherlands, and we expect that all the speakers today will join us in the next seminars, and you have good experience in investing and working with Vietnam. So energy also a very strong point of the Netherlands in refinery and also renewable energy development. So the solution and the chemicals. So we are also planning to promote the chemical cooperation between the Netherlands and Vietnam, and you know the Unilever and also AkzoNobel very successful in Vietnam's chemical and also household production. And you see the farmers chemists. So the solution is for investment, mechanical engineering development support, and research in natural herbs and research for vitamin and pharmaceutical products. So textile issues, and CDI already support Vietnam in promoting the export capacity for Vietnamese companies to European Union in textiles and also vegetable and fruits and also metal work and home decoration, food ingredients. So thank you very much for CDI's cooperation with Vietnam so far. And I think that you have going to organize mission in metalworking this year to Vietnam. This is that's not project calling for investment. So what does it mean? So that it's high-tech import and technological transfer from, for example, especially with the Netherlands to Vietnam. Outsourcing is also it is that advantage that the Dutch company can look for outsourcing partner in Vietnam, and also the management, cost reduction, and also production management, also very important, marketing strategy, management, education and training, research and development, investment, and also policy making. So I think on these are also the good opportunities for cooperation between the Netherlands and Vietnam. Thank you for your If you have any questions, I'm willing to.
Yes, thank you for your speech today. Because as a person who is really dedicated between the Netherlands and Vietnam, especially in the high-tech sector, like to know more about the possibility to be mutually beneficial in the real high-tech industries. For example, the OEM industry manufacturing the machines in Vietnam. Because sometimes, because in your presentation, I haven't seen about that sector in a really high-tech one. Could you please provide us more information?
You mean what do you mean that by the benefits for the cooperation between the Dutch and Vietnam is coming in the sector?
And also your proposed types of cooperation, which is possible between the Netherlands and Vietnam.
Yes, as you see, we have 40%, 45% of labor forces and also educated people. And also it is also the potential labor supplies for the Dutch company. And as colleagues already mentioned that it is in Netherlands is a small market and also high cost for the labor. So here one of the advantage is the labor force. And also product manufacture in Vietnam will enjoy the tax-free to USA, to Canada, to Japan and China, and also European Union countries through the free trade agreement. And also it is enjoy the advantage of tax incentive. And also the government also have tax incentive for the high-tech companies. And also we also have support the educational program as well. So I just give zero ideas about that, and also we have a cooperation with Japan and also for Netherlands and Korea for the supporting industries and to increase the, as my colleagues already said, Vietnam now mostly low-tech sector. So it is also a very big room for expansion and development in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, I'd like to say something. I've been involved in Vietnam now for 7 years. I've worked in the semiconductor industry, in the high-tech industry for more than 20 years. And what a lot of people don't realize that if you go to the factories in the world where Intel is making its products, yes, or ASML is making machines, there are actually a lot of Vietnamese people in the factories. And if you go to the factories and you talk with people there, you say, who are actually, how are the Vietnamese engineers, how are they doing? It's almost always that they are among the best engineers in the factories for making PCs and for building equipment as well. And also in my own experience with a software development company in Vietnam, I think that the quality, and Hans Kikhaar has already given some indication about that, the quality of the work, the quality of the engineers is really top class. And I think that also Hans Duister's success now in Vietnam after several years is really excellent. So I think Vietnam is already, and Vietnamese engineers are already in the high-tech industry in many, many ways. The question is now, how do we get that to Vietnam? So that's my only observation at the time.
Yes, I think a lot of things to do and a lot of things to improve, and we are actively in promoting the matchmaking cooperation between the government in terms of the government level and also the business associations and also the localities also and business companies as well. And also we are not only focused on attracting investment and technological trend, but we also on training and also exchanging experiences. So yes, so the training in high tech also are included in the best preferences policies by the government. Any questions? Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tim, for your clear presentation. I would like to give the word to the next speaker, who is advisor on international relationship of Ecotech, Mr. Bui.
Dear Sir, Madam, and dear friends. First of all, excuse me for my English, because I am a French-speaking people, and not very, very strongly in English. I try to not say, but to listen. The paper I have before I come to the expo. Firstly, I'd like to thank sincerely our friend to NBI International, who has invited us to participate to the Expo 2015 into the beautiful event of the Royal Kingdom of Malaysia. Due to case of force majeure, the General Director and the President of the Board of Direction of a company cannot participate to the Expo. But I am pleased to take this opportunity, this occasion, to present briefly our company, the Ecotech of Ho Chi Minh City. The Ecotech, the new technology corporation, was established in 1989, and formerly we belong to the Vietnam Academy of Science and Technology. Now we are a new society action, 100% privatized since about 5 years. And we still continue to be the partner FIA to reach success for Vietnamese and foreign companies. Our society offers many consultancy and technological transfer services in different sectors. For example, effluent treatment on air pollution, solid waste, water and water treatment, etc. Second, technological transfer on fluid bed condition while using various kinds of combustible or dryer, food processing technology, construction material technology, and also automation. Third, research on energetical technology, namely on reuse energy like wind and solar resources. Fifth, construction engineering and consulting in different localities in Vietnam and abroad. And finally, training and formation, and also training for all kinds of industrial machine and equipment. The Ecotech Ho Chi Minh City want to cooperate with foreign company to operate and develop the consultancy services and technological transfer on diversified activity or and turnkey operations. We welcome any idea, effort from foreign partners to develop all kinds of cooperations in technological transfer, industrial exchange, and technological services. We are open also for discussion with all of you to offer more and more assistance and facility to the Vietnamese and abroad partner, namely in the south part of Vietnam, particularly into Ho Chi Minh City, Bình Dương Province, Dong Nai Province, or to the province in Mekong Delta, etc. In conclusion of my brief presentation, I like to make my best wishes for the success for the third NBI Expo 2015 and happiness, success, all of you and yours. Thank you for your attention. I can respond to your question in French or in Chinese or Vietnamese. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bui, for your kind words. To give the word to our last speaker, who is Mr. Oude Elvering at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I like. We are ahead together. This is typical Vietnamese. Vietnamese are very eager, very speedy. So I would like to give you a few backgrounds of the CBI, what we are doing. CBI stands for Center for Imports from Developing Countries. You see Vietnam. This is a picture I really prefer. It was my first experience when I was in Vietnam a couple of years ago, and it was all if I was catched or attacked by bees. Bees are mopeds in Vietnam. CBI, what is CBI? CBI is an agency, part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Netherlands, transformed in the agency in 1998. We have around 60 employees on the payroll, and a network worldwide of 250 experts. I'm one of the 250.
So I'm not on the payroll of CBI. They hire me for my expertise in engineering and automotive. So I'm traveling around the globe for them to see where we can give support to small, medium enterprises in developing countries. That's the mission and the vision from CBI. We contribute to sustainable economic through the expansion of export from these countries. That's our expertise, transferring knowledge on export. Of course, we need people to cooperate. If you want to do that, you need people to cooperate. So we have a lot of cooperation on national, European, international level. We also have, of course, partners, business support organizations, which are very important to get the train running. Target groups, as said, policymakers, business support organizations, and if you want to export, you need also importers. So this is the circle we try to achieve every time and to close the circle. Why are we doing this? Because it is development aid, as to say. I hate the word, but in our wording in the Netherlands, it's called development aid. We want to achieve export growth in the countries which are emerging, which will lead to income increase, revenue increase, investment increase, or as a consequence, economic development. So basically, by transferring knowledge how to export, we make it possible for companies to export to not only to Europe but also on the globe. It leads to increase of employment within the companies itself, with final effects of prosperity and less poverty. So that is really the ambition we have, and we're executing every day in all kinds of sectors. Coming to Vietnam, we did a very intensive study about the possibilities of Vietnam, because Vietnam is also for CBI a new country since 2010, I think. I was the first time in Vietnam in 2009. We started to develop the cooperation in 2010 onwards. Before that, we were working on India, Pakistan, Philippines, Sri Lanka. We have a lot of countries in Asia and Latin America where we are working on. We identified these areas where we see a lot of opportunities in Vietnam: the electronic manufacturing, assembly, the wire harness cables. So that's a low, that's an activity, cost activity. Mold manufacturing, I've seen companies in Vietnam making dies and molds, unbelievable. Some European countries, companies could learn from that, so they even were better, to my opinion, than some European ones. In the agricultural, in the machinery, food processing, we are already very active in the food processing at the moment. Horticulture, oil and gas equipment, and of course technologies. That are the areas where we think there are opportunities, where we could explore the coming years more and more the cooperation. And I have to say that in my, we were saying about global sourcing, outsourcing, but nowadays CBI is also focusing on exporting towards Vietnam. So CBI is part of the agency NL. In the past, agency NL was always arranging, organizing the outgoing missions. And in view of the reorganization, the government and the different departments, they have centralized all outgoing missions and ingoing missions at CBI nowadays. Our name will probably also be changed in agency NL, but that's what CBI people do not like to hear, because they are known since the 70s under the name of CBI.
Perhaps you were wondering how everything is funded. If you are Dutch or if you are working in the Netherlands, we all pay taxes. The 0.6% from our national income is going to development aid. So you are all contributing to this kind of activities, and you are all contributing partly to my management fee, which I charge CBI today. We have a close cooperation, of course, in the technical sector with the FME, Metal Union, the RVO, the other departments from the ministries, the Dutch trade missions to Vietnam. We are organizing, the first one will be organized in October, 6th to 11th October. If you are interested, you can go to our website and you can see what the mission is all about. If you want to be informed up front, you better go first to the seminar which will be organized in June, where you can also subscribe yourself on the same website. That is highly recommended if you want to do more activities in Vietnam. This is a very short introduction. If you have questions, please do not hesitate.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much all the speakers today. This is the end of the presentation section. Now I will give the word to the Vietnam Unit Manager, Ms. In Nguyen, who will tell us a little bit more about the matchmaking afterwards. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much everyone for the attention. Actually, after this seminar, there will be a B2B online matching with Vietnam companies, and I, together with Viettrade, my partner in Vietnam, selected already 2 companies in precision engineering, one in precision engineering and one in high technology import to Vietnam. And if you would like to match them online with our technical support, please contact me. And thank you for your attention today. I hope that this seminar will provide some values to you about knowledge or about possibilities that you consider for the coming time if you want to do business with Vietnam. And I, as manager of Vietnam Business Unit, welcome you all to work with me for boosting the speed of development as well as the transfer of knowledge for mutually beneficial, I always say that word, mutually beneficial between Dutch and Vietnam enterprises. Thank you very much.
Vous avez droit à un cadeau.
Ik kan de spullen wel even hier laten.
Ja, dan ging het over mee.
I will be visiting Hanoi in June together with